Okay, yeah. So now's the time, we're getting close to it. So Muslims in ML is something that was born back in 2020. That was here at NeurIPS. We had our first event. You guys made it happen. 2021 there was another one. 2022 we didn't do an event. 2023 we didn't do an event. But 2024 we said, okay, let's get this back up. And in the last 1 year, we've had 7 events across all the major ML conferences in the world. And this is our 5th workshop for that. And you guys have made it happen. So thanks to all of you. Let's give you all a big hand. Okay, so we have today with us Professor Mubarak Shah. Professor Mubarak Shah is the Professor of Computer Science at the University of Central Florida. And he's the founding director of the Center for Research in Computer Vision. He's an esteemed researcher in computer vision with over 100K citations. Professor Shah is globally recognized in computer vision and video analysis with pioneering contributions in action recognition, object tracking, and video understanding. He has authored foundational research with over 100,000 citations. Please join me in welcoming Professor Mubarak Shah.
Okay, yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm pleased to be here for the first time. So it's good to be active in research. As you know, the AI is a big revolution. It's affecting everything, and you guys from different part of the world will be really benefit from participate in these big meeting, international level, and contribute to the AI, right? So, because AI will have the bigger impact than the Industrial Revolution had, and it's not only the Western world, English and Chinese and so on, but all other languages are important, and there's a lot of history and background in different parts of the world. So I wasn't sure what to say here because, as was mentioned, I'm a professor in computer vision. I originally from Pakistan. I've been in US for a long time. So one of the advice I give to young AI researchers is to be active in publication and publish only in top venues and be persistent because if you publish good venues, maybe even few publications, you get a lot of citations and you get a lot of credit. But if you publish low category venues, then even it's actually hurts your reputation. So that will be my first advice, to be highly selective. It's difficult, but it's possible to be able to do good research, and that's why I started. I was born in a small town in Pakistan, a small village, and did my education in Hyderabad and Karachi. Then I came to US, did my PhD. I established a computer vision area at UCF, and that started the whole process. So I've been there almost 40 years. The first thing I did to introduce 4 new courses in computer vision. And these courses are from undergraduate level to graduate level. Robot vision, computer vision, advanced computer vision, and computer vision systems. So we still have those courses. So one thing I did innovative is put my lectures in computer vision on the YouTube. That was 2012, and many of you guys must have watched my videos. So we have millions of views, and that gave a lot of visibility. We attracted good students who did PhD under me. I actually graduated my 55th PhD student last week. So establishing something from nothing is difficult, but you have to be determined. And the other thing I did is started publishing in top venues. When we started research at that time, even though the conferences were not that important, we used to publish in journals. But actually, my first publication was, I started in 86, the first publication was 88, ICCV, second ICCV. ICCV, as you remember, International Conference on Computer Vision, started in 87, and then that was in London, and the second was in Tampa, in Florida. Then we had paper in CVPR, then actually ECC started. The first ECC was in France, 91. So that, set the foundation, even though we didn't know that time, like CVPR would be the second most important, venue in publication, impact factor. Nature #1 and CVPR #2. So I think the main thing is that you have to do quality work, and regardless of lots of difficulties, you come to different culture, different language, and you're not used to, but you have to focus on your research, do quality work, and then the system works. For the faculty, I give advice, that you want to become known in one or two particular area, because some people they have spread out within, publish lots of different areas. It's becoming very difficult even now because of the AI revolution, because you can apply the same approach solving the NLP language and robotics and vision and so on. But when you are starting your career, in order to be known, recognized, you have to be working in one area or two, so that people know you that, well, okay, this guy works in this particular area. And the way I started, I worked in video. We did a lot of work in video. Like you see, a 101 is one of the benchmark. At that time, we put this data set. We didn't know it would take off so much. It was before deep learning. Actually, we started with I think 97 or something. You see the sports about 11 actions, then you see a 50, and you see a 101. The first workshop we did in ICCV in Sydney, and that was 2013 or something. In the video area, we have done a lot of work in tracking and UAV analysis, and of course the action recognition and so on. So other important thing for the faculty, faculty job is one is the teaching, research and service. So that's where the professors are evaluated. So in order to, when you start a new job, I would advise junior faculty to become known in your department, that people start noticing you. So you have to do something new. new area, suppose, you put your, lectures on YouTube, and so that everybody in the department knows that when we have new faculty, students will come to you, and of course you can introduce new courses, and so on. And that's the way you recruit actually your students. So you want to build the group very quickly, start doing research and publish in top venues, but at the same time you have to get research funding, because in your system at least, we have to get, like proposals, get funding to support yourself and also the students. Where in the US, the salary is for 9 months, but some are, you have to come with your own salary and so on. So writing proposals is one of the important job as a faculty. And now it works very differently compared to research papers, because you write papers, they are reviewed by peers, blind reviewers and so on. And but getting funding is different, because most of these are decided by some managers and government people and so on. So important advice there is to over deliver. Suppose you promise to do certain things, but do even more, and build the confidence and trust, then you will keep getting funding of the program. And the funding is the most important thing, because if you have funding, then you can support yourself, you can hire bridge students, and also you can travel and all those things. And other promotions, tenure, and depends on the funding. The other important thing as a professor is service. So service is a very important part of the professor, right? So you have to do service at department level, and also the college and university level, but also service at community level. So that you can do, especially young faculty at the community research level. You have to maybe organize these workshops, tutorials, and serve in the committees, and be active. The last thing is very important, to network. So networking with the senior people, and go talk to them, introduce yourself, invite them to your university to give a talk, and actually self-invite yourself to go visit them. So that's advice I give it to people. So well, you just send an email to some senior professor and say, well, look, I will be in town, I want to come visit you, your lab. And most of the time they will say, yeah, sure, you can come. And then they will even ask you if you want to give a talk and so on. So that's a way to build relationship, and it's very, very important that people get to know you, and there'll be collaboration, there'll be proposals and so on. So those are the kind of general advice I have, and I will be happy to answer any questions, anything, any advice you guys want from me. I'm here.
Okay, let's take a couple of questions. Yep, go ahead. Yep.
I had a question
A
about.
bit louder, please.
Sorry?
A bit louder.
Yeah, I had a question about how, like in the future, we can see robots using visual models and like cameras to detect what they're going to do in like social spaces. So how should like data sets about like visual data include privacy measures and making sure there's no like bias in such data sets?
Yeah, so privacy, I think, is a big issue in the AIs, right? So this revolution has made it that we are able to do lots of things we never thought. The problems we are able to solve. If you had asked me 10 years ago, I'd say it's impossible. But we are able to solve this. It's a very exciting time for being a researcher, especially I have been in the research area for a long time. So at the same time, everything which does good thing, there is some also negative side depending on how you want to use it, right? So these are the issues of privacy, the safety, hallucination, and bias. There are lots of these serious issues, and there are lots of research being done in those topics, including we have a lot of interesting work in the privacy preserving human action recognition. So you can anonymize the video, but you can still recognize what is the activity. We have several papers on that. The idea is that suppose if you want to put cameras in the senior homes and you want to monitor, seniors, your parents, if they are taking medicine, or taking a bathroom, and so on. So typically you upload to the cloud, and there it's not private. So the idea is that you can anonymize video, and you can still recognize the activities. There's the whole issue of the bias that these LLM and VLMs are biased to certain, race and gender and physical appearance and so on. So we have interesting paper, the social bias, benchmark, how to evaluate them. So those are the interesting problem to work on, and especially it depends on the different parts of the world. Like we have paper on in the VLM for 100 different languages, how to evaluate GPT and Gemini and all those brain models, how well they do, say in Urdu or Arabic or Chinese and other languages. So I think it's a very exciting time to look into if all these different parts of the world are being served, because AI for all, AI for good, and some of you guys can play an important role to be able to contribute to the field, and at the same time do things for your community also. Yeah.
We have time for one more question in the room. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe he can do that, then there's one more. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. So it's a two-part question, but the first one is, what are the hottest topics in computer vision? And then the second part of that question is specifically related to Islamic, anything related to Islam. What are some interesting intersections there? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that, so one thing is, people who are working in computer vision, should be very happy that computer vision is the area to, in AI. It's the most challenging, most interesting, and most important area of AI. So, if you want to do NLP, you have to do computer vision, right? If you want to do robotics, you have to do computer vision. If you want to do medical imaging, you have to do computer vision. If you want to do self-driving cars, you have to do computer vision. So there are lots of interesting problems. The way the field is moving, that every few months there's new interesting areas, right? So diffusion models, are very active, and so on. So right now there's a thing called word models. So diffusion, like LLM and VLM, they are more static. Now how you can bring in the more dynamics in the model, so it can predict. We have a nice paper we submitted to CVPR. So the idea is that if you take the MRI scan, you can give it to your VLM, and it can detect tumor and so on, right? Or you can give it to GPT and ask question, if this is the disease, then what drugs, somebody should take. Now, that's just static, but the idea in word model is that you give it to the model and it will take each of the possible drug and predict how the tumor will shrink or it will enlarge. And that will predict the survival rate. And based on the survival rate, then you can take the simulated MRI, give it back and ask again what disease you want to put. So that's I think, very exciting area to work in. And that's where also the vision plays a part, because vision includes all the modalities like the audio, you can LiDAR, you can put MRI, CT, and so on. For the second question, I think the main thing is that what I will suggest is more important to be able to emphasize the different languages, like working in Arabic is a good idea. It's very important. It's mentioned billions of people with Arabic language are speaking, and the local problem in those regions, come up with some solutions, but not necessarily emphasizing that with religion, because there's always pushback. I mean, everybody's religion is private thing for everybody. You respect whatever religion anybody has, but that will be that you become famous researcher, you contribute to science, and maybe you are Muslims, right? So which is good. There are lots of you can become many Muslims are very good researchers, and that's the angle what I would suggest to emphasize. There's a breakthrough in in the Arabic, you have LLM, which have discovered 1,000 years of the work. Arab scientists, mathematicians, did that, and how you can explore and so on. So there was a very interesting talk from Mishal Hussain. She's a BBC. She gave a very talk on YouTube. So I'll recommend to look at that. I mean, there's lots of good things Muslims have done, but with all these different perspective and all these crises, I think in a way it's hurting the community. So I would say just emphasize the local problem, Arabic language, all these other things, and do great work, and do your personal religion is for you, and that's good. Okay?